afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing a makeup brush set that you could buy at Walmart for $14. Okay guys, I hope you've been your beautiful selves today. I've been getting more creative as the days go on, and I thought, okay, we had our crazy, wacky quarantine makeup. Now let's actually look at some makeup brushes that you might be interested in when you're going to the grocery store, and they're only $14. So we're reviewing the Moda 5-piece makeup brush set here. I'll be sure to do some up-close footage for you. But it comes in 5 pieces, and it comes with this beautiful holographic makeup bag. For all those holo lovers out there, you're going to love this. It smells like plastic, but that's okay. So you can open this up. Right here, the zipper is really good quality. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break anytime soon. And are you guys ready to see the brushes? If you had followed me on Instagram, you would have seen these a couple days ago, but here are your brushes. They're absolutely beautiful and they are super soft. So we are going to be using these brushes today. We are going to be testing them with these 4 qualities. 1, do they feel cheap? That is super, super important. Do these bristles irritate my skin and are they soft? 3, how much product do they actually pick up and transfer to your face? And 4, how well does this actually apply the makeup? So let's get started. Alrighty, so I already primed and moisturized my face. So I first moisturized with the e.l.f. Glow Radiant Moisturizer here. And then I primed my face with the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer here. Now, so I'm very quickly going to go ahead and put my foundation on with my beauty sponge here. And I am going to be using the L'Oreal True Match Foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on really quickly and we'll get back to this. Okay, so my foundation is on, and ladies and gentlemen, less is more. Just to keep note, it's not cakey or anything, and it's just the right amount. So we're going to go in with our e.l.f. Camo Concealer in the shade Light Sand. And we're going to take our concealer brush from our BH Cosmetics set, and we're just going to go ahead and apply this where we want to apply it, and then we're going to get into these brushes. Okay, so now that our concealer is on, it's time to set the foundation and our concealer. So we're going to be using the e.l.f. Perfect Finish HD powder. This is the translucent powder, and this brush set from Walmart does come with a multi-purpose powder brush. So that's what we're going to be using to set our face. So we're going to see how well this collects the actual powder here. So we're going to go ahead and dip in here. There's a lot of fallout, and it definitely picked up the powder. Now we're going to see how well that it applies. So it's very soft on my skin, but I am having to go back in to get more powder because I feel like it's just not getting enough of it. So far, honestly, it does not feel like a part of a $14 brush set. It actually feels like this brush should be worth about $8. So, and that's a decently priced brush for those of us that can't really afford to get super expensive brushes, because Lord knows I have seen how expensive some makeup brushes are. But it is applying it very nicely. I'm just going in with more powder because I really want this makeup to set. I want it to look good. I want to bake. Lord, I want to bake. So yeah, we're just going in here like this. Okay, and it looks like it took up some of my foundation or my concealer here on the end. If you will focus. Yeah, so on the end here, you can see where it did definitely pick up some of that foundation, which is not really something we want in our brushes. Like, you can tell the difference from here to here. And I'm not really going hard on my face. I'm doing it very lightly, but I would probably keep using this as a powder brush. It feels really nice. My skin isn't really super irritated, which is a plus because I do have sensitive skin. It feels really nice. This right here is a hard plastic. At first I thought it was a squishy, but it's not. And it's clear and it has glitter running through it. It's supposed to be a unicorn horn, as you can see here. And this right here is your basic plastic piece, but these bristles are super soft, feel really nice. They do pick up the product, they do disperse it very nicely, but I would be wary if you haven't let your foundation really set that it will pick that up. So I'm gonna go ahead and let my face bake a little bit, and then we're going to get into the contouring brush. So let's just go ahead and snap into that. Okay, so now we're going to get the concealer brush from the set. Again, feels really nice. All the weight is in the front. Bristles feel mostly nice and soft, just like the rest. But we're going to see while we're applying this contour. So we're going to be using the e.l.f. contouring palette that you can find at Walmart. And we're going to be using the lighter side here. So we're going to go in with this contour brush. And we're going to see how well it works. Okay. So this is how much of the product that it picked up, and as you can see, there's like a few stray bristles, but we're gonna go ahead and get into this and see how well that it applies the product and how it feels on our face. Woo! I would say that it definitely picked up the product for sure. And that's really I need to blend this out now. So we're gonna go back in with that powder brush and we're just gonna kind of blend it out on the bottom to the top here, trying to get that harshness out of this way. Okay, that looks a little bit better. So this definitely works, definitely applies that powder very well. My goodness, how it picks up the product. And I did not go very heavy in this palette. So basically, all I did was this, okay? And it got this much on there and it just went to town. I mean, look at that. I tried to go a little bit lighter here, but it still applied that very nicely. It picked up the product much better than my other brush did. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this out really quickly and I'll give you my final thoughts on this contouring brush. Okay, so I'm done with the contouring brush and I will say this for sure. Go lightly with your brush because maybe I'm slightly heavy-handed, but as you can see, more of the bristles started to pop out and it definitely picks up the product on this. Not only that, but also from your face. So I do recommend making sure that you let your foundation set for a little bit longer and your concealer before going into these brushes. I will say this, my skin isn't irritated still. The bristles feel really nice on my skin, so I'm very happy about that, and it's a really pretty color. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the highlight, and this does come with a highlighting brush as well. It's nice, super brown, super fluffy. I will say this though, that this is probably one of the first brushes in this set that I feel like I could break it because of how small the shaft is. Same plastic up here, bristles again feel really nicely. And it does come to a point at the top, so it could get you a little bit more precision when you do highlight. So we're going to see how well this picks up the product and how well it places it as well. So you could kind of see where it did pick up some of the highlight on there, but I don't necessarily believe that's going to be enough to show up on our skin, but we are going to find out. I mean, I can actually see that. I don't know if you guys can. So let's get a little bit more on our brush here. And then maybe we'll come to the camera. See how you guys can see this. Oh, yes, you can see that. Ooh, so this is definitely displaying this highlight and giving it more of a better representation than my older brushes. So this definitely gets an A+ for putting highlight on. And you can see where it did not really pick up any of my foundation or any of my concealer that I had on my face. So that is a plus. So we're just going to go ahead and apply the rest of the highlight where we want to highlight. I'm just going to drag this highlight up here, even though we contoured over here, but we just really want to highlight these edges along with it. To be like, yes, bone structure, how are you? You are beautiful. Just gonna kind of go up here, lightly dragging. Kind of give it a shape as well. Ooh, look at that. This is very, very beautiful. This is very pretty. Put some on our chin as well, because we definitely want to highlight our chin. Get it to more of a point as well. This is very pretty. Boop it on our cupid's bow. And I think we're done with the highlighting portion. So I definitely give this an A+. Again, doesn't irritate my skin. Super, super soft bristles. Applied the product very nicely. As you can see here, we are highlighted to... Is it to filth? Is that what they say? Highlighted to filth? Yes. The only con is that going to these smaller brushes with these shafts that are so small, they do feel like you can break them, but it is a hard plastic. I would just recommend trying not to like bend them like crazy. So now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and go into our eyeshadow. So this set does come with 2 brushes meant for eyeshadow. We're only going to use these 2, mind you. And we're going to use a couple of colors. We're going to go for a summer-kissed glow look on our eyelids today. So we're going to do our best with these 2 brushes and see how well they work. Alrighty, so I fixed up my eyebrows just a tiny bit because they were looking kind of scraggly. We're going to go in with our shader brush and we're going to get a base color for our eyelids. So we are using the Jeffree Star x Morphe palette. And we're going to go into the shade, we're going to the shade Lynn. We're going to lightly dab it. And as you can see, this picked up the product very, very well. We're going to see how well it applies it and how well it feels on my eyelids. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do this side first so you guys can really see it get applied. So we're just going to pat it onto our eyelids here. And you could definitely see a difference already. So this is probably the first brush. I will say it definitely kind of hurts my skin a tiny bit. Not a whole lot, but it is something to look out for if you are using this. I am having to go back in, but it definitely does sting just a tiny bit. The bristles are a little bit more squished together, so I understand that. So the one thing about this brush is that it's not angled enough to where you can really get in close to the tip of your eyelids without having to go over your eyelashes. So that is something to look out for. And I feel like I'm having to go in a lot into this color to get my eyelid perfectly based out with eyeshadow. So that is something to look at for sure. Now, I did prime my eyelids with the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer. I didn't use concealer this time, so that might be a fault on mine. Okay, so that is done, and you can see where there is a difference between my eyes. It definitely did pick up the product very well, and I do believe that it put the product on my face very nicely, even not necessarily, but that's no fault of its own. This is only a $14 makeup brush set and you get 5 brushes. So Honestly, it's not that bad, but I would kind of recommend going to Elf or Wet n Wild and buying one of their $3 makeup brushes, as they come in various different shapes and sizes. But this is also about that aesthetic of a unicorn horn. It's light blue, kind of part of a pastel family, and it has glitter in it as well. So we are just lightly going over this brush with a makeup wipe because we're using the same brush. And we are going to pop a color in our crease. Yay! And we're going for a kind of summery vibe. So I feel like that means some oranges, maybe some pinks. So we're probably going to go ahead and go into Wind Noise. And we're just going to pop this into our crease, blend it out a little bit. And we're going to see how well it does with that kind of color as well. So as you can see, it definitely picked up the color. And we're going to see how well it works as a blending brush. And we'll definitely be able to tell how well this does in the crease. So let's get to it. Okay, immediately it has deposited the color onto my eyelid. And we're going to see how well this blends out. Now, Wind Noise is one of those colors that you could definitely build up onto your eyelid. But I'm not sure how heavy we want to go. I feel like I do want to go over this color maybe one more time, because it does appear to be very light, and I do want just a tiny bit more depth. Okay. And it blended out this color very nicely, so definitely props to this brush for blending it out fairly nicely. So we're going to go back into Wind Noise, get a little bit more on our brush, go over the color again just to kind of deepen it up just a tiny bit more. Okay, so that very nicely deepened up that color just a little bit like I wanted to. So now we're going to go in with the shader brush here, and I'm feeling we're going to go for a, I feel like maybe a hot pink will look pretty good with this. So we're going to go into the color Self-Made. Now mind you, this brush is not wet like that one brush. So we're going to go ahead and go in with just the tip here, and that picked it up straight away. Very vibrant color, and we're just going to pop it onto our eyelid here that doesn't have any color on it right now. So we're just going to pat it on there. It is placing this color very nicely. In fact, I think I might have picked up too much color on this. That's fine. So we're bringing it to the inner eye corner, going over the Wind Noise color just a little bit. And you can see where it's definitely, it looks like it's blending. It's a gradient going into the other color, and that's kind of what I want. And it's very subtle, very pretty right now, and I have very hooded eyes, so you're only going to see this little bit of the crease here. You're going to see the brow color and then the lid. So this is definitely working out very well, and you can see how the bristles here, as soon as you start using the brush, hold on, as soon as you start using the brush, it does kind of form to your eyelid as you're pressing down. So that's very nice. So it's become an angled brush instead of a soft little bit of a round brush. So I don't think we're going to go back in with this color because the color is very strong. We're just going to lightly go over Wind Noise to kind of blend them together. So we're going to do slight dragging motions over it. And then I am going to go back into this color, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring down the bottom of our eyes here, and we're just going to drag it down so it kind of makes a little bit of a cohesive look. Now again, it picks this up very well, so we're just going to tap off some of the color here, and then we're going to go ahead, start from the outer eye corner and drag it to the inner eye corner very slowly. So when you're doing this, you're going to want to get as close to your bottom waterline as much as possible and just go very gently, because you don't want it to be too big of a line. You just want it to be a tiny little line. I would normally use a flat, tiny straight brush like this to do this bottom color, but we're working with what we got. We are doing a review for just these brushes, so that's what we're doing. We can just kind of pat it right here. A little too much, so I'm going to take my ring finger and just smudge it out just a tiny bit. As you can see, we got like a nice little color going through here. Now what we can do is take this and sweep it up and make a little bit of a winged look as well. So we're just going to take the very tip of this brush and just drag it straight up. Just pretend there's a straight line up here. We're just gonna bring it up right there. So now we got a little subtle wing look right here, which is perfect. I've been into that look lately. So now that that's done, we are going to take the makeup wipe here and we're gonna get some of this pink off, and we're going to highlight our brow area, and we're gonna see how well that does. So this brush, unlike the other one, didn't really irritate my skin. It was very nice, very soft. So I very much so appreciate that. I don't like it when brushes really hurt my face because I am very sensitive. I will break out and it will be red, and it's just not a good time for anyone. Okay, so we got a lot of the color off of that brush, but we're still gonna go ahead and use the other side. And we're going to go into the shade 2. It's a perfect highlighting color from this palette because I really want it to be like kapow in your face. So this is what my brushes typically look like when I'm going in with this shade. You do not have to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and just pop this on there and see how it looks. Oh yeah, look at that. That's what I want to see. I want to see that color. I want to see it pop on my eyelid. As you can see, it's perfect, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. I love it so much. So, that's how that's looking right now. What we're going to do is, we're going to go in with our highlighting brush here, and we're just going to go over the top of this, kind of like smudge it out a little bit, get a little bit more blended and see how we like it. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the other side off camera, and then we're going to see what our final look looks like. Alrighty, and we're back, and yes, you are off with the tripod. Wanted to give you guys a closer inspection of the eye look that we have achieved with those brushes. So very quickly, just going into the eyes here so you guys can see. They blended very, very well. I'm very excited about that. It definitely did what it was supposed to. I will say that one of my favorite brushes out of this entire set is most definitely this highlighting brush. It's so soft, it's so comfortable to use in my hand, and it applies product very nicely as well, and it blended like a champ. It is great. Now, I will say that this one right here, the shading brush, this is the one that was most painful, I will say. It definitely wasn't soft on my skin. I could definitely feel it when I was touching my eyelids where exactly all the bristles were. So this is probably my least favorite brush on here. It did apply the product kind of spottedly, but all in all, for a brush that's part of a $14 5-piece brush set, it did its job. Now this one, the smoky eye brush right here, did its job phenomenally. It was so soft, so precise, so easy to use, and we used this brush for underneath here, and it did a fantastic job, I think, and I'm very excited about that. We'll always use this probably. Now the contour brush here that we have, this contour brush picks up like nobody's business. However, it will pick up your foundation as well and concealer if you have it on, and as you can see, we've got some bristles coming off right here already. They're being pulled out, so might not be able to use this as well. And so we can see the final look of where it had applied its contour here. And on the forehead, it does do a nice job, especially if you go over and you want to blend it out with this. It does its job, but it's probably not going to last. They're just very pretty brushes as well, and it doesn't feel like you're going to break it, so just keep that in mind. Now this powder brush. So we use this for our setting powder. I used it... Well, just setting powder. So we used it for our setting powder. We used it to blend out the contour as well. It worked very well. None of the bristles are coming out of this brush. It didn't really pick up as much foundation as the other brush did, but it did pick up some. And it doesn't feel like you're gonna break it at all. So all in all, these brushes do a fantastic job. Now mind you, $14 divided by 5. These are fairly inexpensive brushes by themselves. They do a good job. Some stand out more than others, but that's normally how it goes in the makeup brush world. Now you can find these brushes at Walmart in the beauty section where the elf section is at. Now, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this very informative review. I totally recommend them. They're very awesome. And due to everything being closed down and Walmart being kind of the only place where you can get makeup right now, having more brushes at your disposal that are super cute, totally Instagram worthy, girls, guys, you know it, I would totally recommend them. I would definitely get a lot of use out of them. It applied very nicely, especially the eyeshadow and the contour. A+, and it comes with a cute holographic bag. How can you say no to that? But anyways, I hope you guys stay your beautiful selves and you have a great morning, evening, afternoon, and night wherever you are in the world. And I will see you and talk with you in the next video. Bye, guys!